Hi guys, Cargrash here, and today starts the first episode of learning to create a game with Construct Classic. I brought this up last week in my update video that I had gotten suggestion to maybe revisit this and kind of take you guys step by step through the creation step process. Specifically, the two comments I had received were about transitioning from one screen to another for like a win condition and to add music. Neither of which I think I'm going to be getting to in this very first episode. This first episode will be very much the start of everything. So you've went online, looked up Construct Classic, or went to the link that I'm going to have in the description below and went to Construct Classic's download page. You downloaded it, you installed it, you've double clicked on the icon to get it running, and if you're at this screen, you're good. There shouldn't be any crashing happening for you. Um, if it's not working for you, I unfortunately don't have a solution. Your best bet would be to go online to the Construct Classic forums and see if someone has a solution for you. If not, this program may not be for you. Though you can still take most of what I apply here and apply it to, say, uh, Construct 2 and maybe even Construct 3. I know they're much newer versions of the program, but from what I've seen of 2 and 3, a lot of the stuff would carry over. So when you're first starting up, this will be kind of the splash screen brings you up to. You'll hit File, New, and then new application is strictly for making programs, say like randomizer if you're wanting to, maybe you're an artist and you want to have some random words selected for you, or make a list of random subjects that you press a button and it randomly picks one for you. That's what the application is mostly for. There is no like sprite work or game animation or 3D kind of look to it. Well, not 3D, but there are certain things that only the game version of it can actually access. So if you weren't wanting to make a game, but you were wanting to make an application, this might also be useful to you. But today, since I am kind of trying to show you how to make a game, we're going to go into the game version. The new template and example are example games that already come bundled with Construct Classic that let kind of teach you a little bit themselves. So if there's ever something that I don't teach that you're like, I wish I had an example of it, check this out. There may be an example game that is close to what you're looking to create that you can pull from. But anyway, let's select a new game. And immediately you're brought up to this white square. You have a layout color, you have a width and height, but we're not going to really worry too much about that right away. First and foremost, we're going to come over here to the right hand side. Under this project tab, sometimes it's over on animator, sometimes it's selected on layers. We want to make sure it's on project. And then you want to click on your application. You can put your name here as the creator, the name of the program. I'll put those in later. There's captioning, there's resizing. I would say, let's see here. And the resizing was useful. Right, to minimize, maximize, and allow for full screen. All good. let's see here. Minimize gives it the little kind of menu up here to like minimize the application. Maximize does the opposite. This is where you would choose the new size of things. So if you want the actual window of the application to be, 720p, you would change the two width and height to be what you need it to be. Alright, 60 frames per second. I don't really need it to be any higher than that. I want it to run in full screen when it goes. You can have an option in-game, like if you press a button to have it go full screen or to go from full screen to not. I'm not going to worry about that too much right now, but just know it's an option. And then there's the basic controls. So move left, left arrow, move right, right arrow, up, down, jump. I don't know why they have a shift, but you can change that. Brings up all the buttons on the keyboard. So once you've got that all settled the way you want it to be, you then can click anywhere on this, your first layout here, and it brings you back to layout over here on the layout properties. And this is where what the window sees, 640 by 480, and what the layout sees is two different things, because I could change this layout to be like 10 times this. So if I wanted to, I could just no, don't do that. There, it's 10 times the normal size. But you see the kind of gray line here shows us just what the screen would see. So if you plop the player right here in the center and told the screen to follow the player, this is as far as the screen you'll be able to see. Sorry about that, guys. Had a phone call happen. Anyway, back to what I was saying. This gray outline is what the screen would show up. So, like I said, if I made a character and I had the screen follow the character, this is as far as the player, the person playing the game would be able to see. So, if I had an enemy over here rushing towards the player, they wouldn't see him until they cross this boundary, which is very good to know if you're wanting to make like an adventure game or maybe a horror game that's based all around the player not being able to see something coming at him. It's good. It's a good thing to know about. Anyway, but for today's demonstration and purposes, I don't need it that big, because right now we're just doing kind of the title screen and getting you to the next layout. So every layout has an event sheet attached to it when you first make it. This will be important later, but we'll want to make a second one. So add layout, makes layout 2. Layout 2 has its own event sheet. But on layout 1, we can even rename layout 1 to start screen. You can label it however you want to, but I like to keep mine nice and simple. You can either choose a background, say like this. I like a nice dark background, either a black or like a dark blue. Even that's a little bright. But you can choose a custom color if you want to, but right now this is kind of what I need, just a nice simple background. And you could insert an image. So if you insert new object, and then if I find it here, you could add a panel, you could add tiled background. Like guess they don't have the option to bring in just an image. That is something that you will find in Construct 2 and 3, is just being able to just straight up insert an image, unless I'm just blind and I'm missing it for Construct Classic. But the easiest way to do it in Classic that I've seen is just insert sprite. Here's an empty sprite, and if I wanted to say, here, bring in that image that I used for my video last week. Do you want to save the image? Yes. See, it's a little on the massive side, so I would definitely have to toy around with this, but I could do something like this. And then run layout. Yeah, and then I would actually have, so if I wanted to make this some sort of spooky in here, I would have a little bit of space to work with that. Only problem, oh boy, is that I don't know, close window. I don't have a nice way of easing out of that, so I had to Alt Tab out of that. There we go. Oh boy. So that might be something you want to insert right away into the project. Go to Event Sheet 1. Now that we're on Event Sheet 1, insert event. We want to end the program, which of course we need keyboard controls for. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, so bear with me. So we have an image in the background. Insert object, mouse and keyboard controls. Insert. They're now here in our objects menu. Now we go to layout 1. Insert event. Mouse and keyboard. On key pressed, we want it to be, I was hitting escape. Oop. If escape is pressed, we want to close the application. There you go, close application. So, it's probably gonna mess up my screen again, but I wanna test out. You always wanna test out these things every time you make an adjustment to your events. Run layout. Brings us to that screen. I hit escape. Closes that screen. Unfortunately, this little jankiness when you're playtesting is bound to happen. The screen's going to be supersized for a moment because I had to blow up the screen to make it work. And it usually fixes itself over time. Oop. There we go. So have the image in the background. We have a way to escape the program when we got it. You could insert an object for text. So if you wanted to, put some text, stop that. I usually suggest just sticking with a nice simple background, unless you got something in mind for a big fancy one. Obviously, you can have a much more imaginative title. I'm just going with simple here because I can. And obviously, we don't want it to be just 20. Let's see here. Text. Now, I've made a very basic kind of title screen here. Just a name. Start. You could have a menu here or options if you want to work those in, and the exit at the bottom. And if we wanted to bring this in, we could still, let's see, line this up with his nose. So, okay, so get the title, start. Now, if you actually wanted to have it do anything, right now this isn't a button, and the automatic buttons that they give you options to, like this right here, they in Construct Classic they do not work. In Construct 2 they sort of work. In Construct 3 they work just fine. So don't bother using this; it's not going to work for you. What I tend to do is make a sprite that's the same color as the background, so it would just be a black sprite that would sit underneath the start. And then when you hovered over it, so like go to the event screen, when the mouse is over an object, and it doesn't have to, you don't have to use the sprite, you could just use the text. It was text 2 in this case is the start one. When the mouse is over text 2, that's another one. They don't let you change what the mouse looks like because normally in Construct 2 you could change, say, the mouse pointer to be the finger to let you know that you could, click on or interact either a finger or any of the different like icons you use for a normal mouse pointer. But since we don't have that, when it's over it, don't yell at me. Right, no, it's when mouse is over, and then insert sub event. An object clicked. Just a left click, just clicked once. Text 2. So this makes sure that the mouse is over text2, and a sub event can only happen if the first part is still in effect. So if the mouse is over text2 and then you click on text2, it'll bring you to, we'll say, go to layout. And we want to go to layout 2. So 2. Then that should work just fine. Once again, you always want to surround layout. And brings us to layout 2. Problem is, you can hear me hitting escape. Layout 2 does not include the functionality from layout 1, which is something you have to account for, and I forgot to. The really nice thing about it, though, is that you can just go to event sheet for layout 2, application 1, layout 2 events, right click, and include event sheet. We want it to include the layout 1 events, so that way it knows that when you press escape, it closes the application. One last thing you can do if you're wanting to kind of actually punctuate that a little more on that one is do what I said about adding the sprite. So sprite, and want to make it black like the background. Yes. Right now it's over the text, so we want to order, and we want to order to back. Now it's on the back of everything. We want to resize it to be just the same size as start. I want to do the layer, let's see, order to back. Okay, now sprite is the furthest thing back, then sprite 2, then the two texts. So then we'll want to have sprite 2 when we're mousing over the text. So back to layout 1, layout 1 events. When the mouse is over text 2, I want to change sprite. We need to, all right, we need to animate him. Animate them. So sprite 2. Let's see here, objects. Sprite 2, animator. We'll add a frame. In this frame, he's going to be, or they are going to be that color. Why not? Yes. Let's There you go. Black and then a light blue. Now if you let it just go like this, it's going to start just flickering between 1 and 2 again and again and again and again. We don't want that to happen. I know that's going to happen because I've done this before. At least a little bit in my time. So we want to do something at the start of the layout. So we insert event, this system event. On the start of the layout, we want to set Sprite2's animation. So here, set animation frame. We want to set it to, I believe it's, oops, shush. I want to set it to 1. Set animation frame to 1. And then if mouse is over text 2. Actually, there's actually a smarter way to do this. You could have it just start of layout. Yeah, you actually still have to do that. Start of layout, set animation frame to 1. No, right. That's right, there is a way to do it. So when mouse is over, and do the same thing if mouse is over text 2, but we change this to a not, an inverted event. Yeah, okay, so if you click here, so just the event itself is highlighted. Right click, invert event. So when the mouse is not over text 2, set animation frame to 1. And when mouse is over text 2, set animation frame to 2. Alright, so go to project, run layout. See? Nice and simple. Lets them know that you can click on it. And that's kind of the basics of making a menu. Like I said, you can add like a options or other menu or an exit button down here and have them do various things, but this is just the very kind of bare minimum basics of it. Like you start. I wonder if I have to save that for the kick in, because you should have kept Yeah, I'm not 100% sure why that didn't work. Because should have included the event sheet, layout 1 events. So if I hit escape, it should have still closed the application. I may have to fiddle around with that on my own time, so I'm not wasting your guys' time. You could always copy paste it into event 2. And I know for a fact that Construct 2 most definitely has an option like that where you can right click, include event sheet, and then just have that information from the previous event sheet work for you. Anyway, that's going to have to be it for today. It's just going to be kind of a short and sweet little video, kind of getting you the very bare minimum basics of getting like a menu set up and getting ready to actually make a game in the next video. Thank you guys for coming along with me on this little startup journey of things, and I'll see you all again next time. Goodbye.